What's good? Getting everything situated, guys. Is that how I want to look at it? Or checking out the news, guys. We're checking out the news. Man, I'm here stuck in this hotel. Want to get my truck fixed. So I thought I would go over the news with you guys, man. See what's up. Yeah, I like that one right there. That looks good. Indeed. Oh yeah. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I've been stuck in the hotel for like more than a week. Y'all ever got hired at Priming? I know for a fact y'all know about being in the hotel room for weeks at a time, man. Hey, one thing about Priming, they gonna put you in the hotel. You better believe that. Let's see what we got. Come on, now. Said that it's still rolling. Everybody's still rolling. We still cooking. All right. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and do a check like this right here while we at it. Yep, that looks good. Looks good. Looks good. What else we got up here? That'll work too. That's gonna work too. All right. Yeah, man, we're gonna go ahead and go over some news. What's out there? What's brand new? What's happening? We got another company that just closed down, man. Well, that just filed bankruptcy. Let's. Yep. Another company just filed for bankruptcy. And if you're been following, Dame Dash says that shit just because the company files for bankruptcy, just because a company files for bankruptcy, that doesn't mean that they are necessarily doing bad. All right, let's go ahead and get on into it, man. Shit, let's read some news articles. Let's read some news articles, man. TikTok keep going in and out. Hey, just blowing the hell out of me. check out this news article, man. Let's see what we got. Struggling national trucking company files for Chapter 11. Blowing me. See something. No sound detected. So we're gonna have to go ahead and get a mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. 1 2 1 2. Mic check. Yep, there we go. Mic check. Mic check. 1 2 1 2. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. No echoes. Good. All right. Shipping companies continue to face financial distress and file for Chapter 11 protection to try to reorganize and stay in business. The Great Recession is not over. Newsflash. This is by MSN, too. This is according to MSN. The 3 year long Great Recession is not over, and they put NOT capital. NOT is not over. And the leading indicators that caused freight waves to declare the end of the Great Freight Recession in November 2024, just last year. We reporting the news. As a matter of fact, let's go here. Since y'all making it so hard for you, boy. The leading indicators that caused freight waves to declare the end of the Great Freight Recession in November 2024, just last year. The result, the resulting carrier optimism is now in rearview mirror. Look, I think they kept saying that that the recession is over, so they can keep bringing in those um those H-1 visas. But now that Trump had um, put a tax on that $100,000 tax on top of the visas, um, that's changing up the way people are doing businesses or business. President of accounting firm KSM Transport Advisor said on the company's website, 17 companies filed for bankruptcy in the second quarter. Let's go. All right, let's see what we got here. No, that's right. Shut up, man. All right. Freight demand declines. Let's see. Overall freight demand faced an unseasonal decline. in April 2025. If y'all been out there, man, throughout the spring and the summer, have y'all seen any adjustments? Have y'all seen any kind of decline out there in the freight? I know that I have. It's kind of been long. It's been my reload times have been a little longer than usual, and my deadhead have been longer than usual as well. Like if I wanted to get a load right away, I would have to deadhead. I noticed that either way, I'm looking at like 3 hours, just to get a reload. Either if I'm deadheading or just sitting and waiting. H5 transport files for bankruptcy. The Great Freight Recession has led the financially challenged trucking and logistic company H5 Transport LLC to file for Chapter 11 to restructure debt. The Oaks, North Dakota Shipping Company filed for Subchapter 5 petition in U.S. Bankruptcy Court on September 16th, listing up to $1 million in assets and $1 million to $10 million in liability. Man, other trucking companies that have filed for bankruptcy in the third quarter are Nationwide Freight Hauling Company, Daniel Trucking, which filed for Chapter 11. Also, Orlando, Florida based trucking company Extreme Quality Logistics, and its affiliate Windstar Investments filed their Subchapter 5 petitions. Trucking company bankruptcies in the third quarter. Daniel Trucking International, Quality Logistics, affiliate Windstar Investments, and H5. All right. Then some of their products that they do ship. You got general freight, grain, feed, hay, dry bulk commodities, beverages, paper products. Then on H5, their top customers would be 3M, Whirlpool, and Bayer. That's the medicine people. Boy, it's hard out here, man. It is hard out here. What else we got going on out here, man? Trucking companies closing the door, and it seems like uh, with less drivers here, trucking companies closing, that things are starting to balance out, right? You would think it's gonna I think it's gonna get worse before it gets better, guys. I really do. I really do think that more companies will have to close their doors. More drivers will have to hang up their CDLs. Um, and also the government will have to do their part as far as immigration goes. Like, hey, you're gonna have to close off your borders. I've had way too many interactions with drivers who aren't American born, who aren't American, period, right? Like their citizenship or their license is from a different country. Like America gonna have to do a better job with that. The government will have to do a better job with protecting its workforce. And I don't think that the government is really doing a good enough job to protect this existing workforce. As long as they keep the borders open, as long as they keep allowing truck drivers from Canada and Mexico to come across the borders and just run freight all over the place, man, things just won't get better. You know, it doesn't make any sense that if I'm running into any truck driver who is from, let's say, Canada, and I meet them down in, let's say, Kentucky or West Virginia. Like, what the hell you doing way down here? Okay. At best, you should be up there in Michigan, right? Michigan. And if you're in the Northeast, no further than New York, that Buffalo area, man, then take it right back up out of here. Down south, Texas, that's as far as you can go. Out west, San Diego, that's the far as you can go. Like, we need more protection. Like, the government has to protect their already existing workforce in order for this thing to get better. But they got to do a better job. They got to do a better job. And I think, like I said, it's going to get worse before it gets better. And we're going to need help from. I would say that the business people got to do their part, but their main goal, their main objective is to make more money. Okay, that's their job. All right, what else we got going on? It says that unemployment is down, of course. What we got here? It says top 100 private carriers tap brakes on growth. Okay. The largest private carriers in North America have been navigating unpredictable markets and shifting freight patterns this year as tariffs and trade negotiations shake up the status quo for international supply chains. Retail giant Walmart claims the number one position for the second straight year. It has 12,696 power units and is expanding its lead over PepsiCo number two. I don't really see a lot of PepsiCo trucks, and I'm in and out of a Pepsi facility all the time. I see some like Frito Lay trucks. I guess that is the same thing, but that's mostly like local stuff too. It says a narrow majority of companies of this year top 100 list either trim the size of their in-house truck fleets or maintain the same tractor count as a year ago. The shift may indicate a slowdown in the investments that many shippers have made in their own private fleets in recent years. I'm going to tell you another thing that's going to impact the food industry. The way that um, Kennedy, along with this administration, the way that they're handling food stamps and EBT, they're taking snacks off the EBT. You won't be able to use EBT to purchase snacks. That's going to be huge. That is going to be a huge uh, customer base that's just gone. You know, it makes a big difference whenever a person can go into a grocery store and spend $100 at a time on just snacks and not even think about it because it's on the EBT card versus having to come out of pocket with that. That's going to be huge. That is going to be huge, guys. That's a whole customer base just gone. I know when I used to be on food stamps back in the day, um, I used to rack up on uh, a bunch of snack foods. You know, maybe two, 3 cases of soda, some chips, definitely. You know, I had kids and definitely for myself too. You also have some mergers going on. Acquisitions continue to reshape the business landscape for private fleet operators. But the biggest development on that front was a proposed merger in the grocery sector that did not move forward. Kroger and companies, Albertsons announced plan to combine their businesses. Albertsons formally terminated the agreement in December after federal and state courts blocked the deal due to antitrust concerns. Hmm, that's interesting. PFG, which ranks number 4 on the top 100 of Cheney Brothers Food Service distributor in Florida and North Carolina, is on the list. Let's see, Dr. Pepper, they're on here. Medical and waste disposal. Stericycle, which ranks number 87 this year, was acquired by Waste Management. Okay. I didn't know that. Did y'all know that? Waste Management is in the medicine business, disposing of medical goods. Well, I'm giving y'all some good information here, Jack. CNS Wholesale Grocers in June announced an agreement to acquire grocery distributor Spartan Nash, ranked ranked number 77. H&E Equipment, ranked number 94. Debuting at number 70 is building product supplier QXO, which completed its acquisition of Beacon Roofing Supply in April. QXO is the latest venture of serial entrepreneur Brad Jacobs, who previously formed less than truckload carrier XPO. Okay. Another newcomer this year is number 89, Pepsi Bottling Ventures, an independent Pepsi Cola bottler and distributor based in Raleigh. Okay. Further down the list, distributor Columbia Distributing returns at number 98. Clayton Homes, a Berkshire Hathaway subsidy that builds manufactured housings and modular homes. cracks the list at number 99. So we got some mergers going on, man. That's what's gonna have to happen, right? And I think smaller trucking entities, we can take note and follow suit as how to do business moving forward, right? Because if these trucking companies, if the larger businesses, if they can merge together, why can't the smaller guys, right? Like, why can't we all put our resources together and do business together, right? We don't necessarily have to go to, to the Swifts and go to the Schneiders and go to, whatever large trucking company. Like, we can merge together ourselves, right? Maybe that's too much wishful thinking though. But I think we could do that. I think we, if get some lawyers together, right? Get your accountant together, and then of course you can come up with some ways to do good business together. Because let me tell you something, man. These large trucking companies, they have a high overhead. They have salaries that they gotta pay. Okay, they have salaries that they have to pay. They have shareholders that they have to pay. Don't get it twisted. Just because these companies, they say that they can operate their truck at 50 cents a cost, 50 cent per mile. Don't get it twisted. They still got a high operating cost, man. Still do. What else we have here, man? Amazon, Teamsters, the old union. What are they talking about, man? Let's see what the union. Teamster grows influence in Amazon's food network. All right. Victories in 2025 touted by Union. But card check process at home facilities may have some legal issues. Teamsters has been battling Amazon on several fronts for several years with mixed success. An ongoing Teamsters organizing effort at UNFI, an acronym drawn from the company's formal United Natural Foods, found recent success in Richburg, where workers were voted they voted 27-15 to join a union. Let me give them a round of applause, man. Shoot. All right. Look at that. So the Amazon in Richburg, South Carolina, they will have a union. Okay. And that's the thing, guys. Like, you don't have to go about this thing by yourself, right? Like, you can team up and organize, and the next thing you know, man, you got you a team, and you got somebody to negotiate your wages for you too. Where Amazon comes into play is a major food distributor to Whole Foods. All right. Let's see. The victory in the latest is the latest in the wave of Teamsters organizing wins at the nation's largest distributor for Amazon owned Whole Foods. They must be working the heck out of them in Whole Foods, man. The vote affects a workforce of approximately 50 employees. Shout out to them, man. Shout out to them. Shout out to them. Shout out to them, dog. Yeah, man. All right, let's see what else we got, man. Target is expanding next day delivery to top 35 cities. Retailer fine tunes how stores used as logistics hubs. Target is expanding next day delivery for online orders to 35 top metropolitan areas to better compete with Walmart, Amazon, and other retailers. These markets to include Cleveland, Orlando, Pittsburgh by the end of October. To try to get ready for Christmas. I hear that. Next day delivery fee for orders over $35 or more with no minimum order amount if a person is a Target Circle 360 member. Most items eligible for shipping are eligible for next day delivery. Includes 85% of goods sold in physical stores. Next day delivery at Target. There you go. It's about time, right? I mean, shoot. Amazon been getting it together. Walmart, they've been getting at it. That's that's why your sales decline. Y'all not keeping up. So that next day, that's definitely gonna help get that revenue where it's supposed to go. EV Realty secures a $75 million investment from NGP for charging expansion. I've driven I've rented a Tesla. I think it's the Tesla X, whichever one. It's the big body joint, right? And I had rented it for the weekend. I was in the Northeast. I had to take it from New Jersey up to Massachusetts, right? And it's a good ride, smooth ride. Um, get in and out of traffic. I like the way that it can accelerate. I like the power that it has. It was a cool looking vehicle, real smooth looking car, man. The only thing that got me was the amount of times that you have to stop and charge that vehicle up on that one little stretch of road, right? And then once you get from in like a certain point past in on 95, those charging stations um they become far and few in between, right? So the infrastructure wasn't quite there yet, but I can see uh maybe in the future maybe with people driving habits, how they refuel their cars, that habit starts to change because, as I was charging the vehicle as well, right? When I finally did stop to change and fuel up, you have to sit and wait, right? Sometimes 30 minutes, 40 minutes. And I'm like, damn, I just don't see Americans in general the way that we like things like right away. We like our grits instant, rice instant, food fast. If them niggas don't come off of that assembly line and in my bag fresh and hot and fast, it's gonna be a problem. So as long as companies keep working on the infrastructure on that, man, you know, which I think we're a little ways off, but keep working on it, man. But as today, I just don't see it. Not today. But you got a $75 million growth in equity from a private equity investor in GP to scale its portfolio of commercial fleet charging hubs. Hey man, shout out to growth, man. The company also broke ground on its first large scale sub project in San Bernardino, California, featuring 76 DC fast charging stalls. He building that infrastructure, man. That's what it's all about. What else we got going, man? Oh, what's this right here? A new bill aims to ban predatory truck leasing. Oh man, we're gonna have to give that one a round of applause. One more time, man. Yeah. A new bill aims to ban predatory truck leasing. Legislation takes up recommendation by FMCSA Truck Lease Task Force. Mm. It says in Washington, legislation has been introduced banning predatory lease purchase programs used by trucking companies to generate higher profits at the expense of the drivers. This is according to FreightWaves, by the way. The bill introduced on Wednesday by U.S. Rep. Julia Brownlee would amend federal regulations to prohibit the use of predatory commercial motor vehicle lease purchase programs by certain motor carriers and for other purposes. Okay. The report accumulated a series of meetings held between July 23rd, 2023, December 2024, investigate the prevalence of contracts drawn up by trucking companies to purposely take advantage of drivers. I know that's right. That's dope. That's dope. All right. So we're getting some legislation that's in favor of truck driver. I'm all right with that. I'm definitely okay with that. What else we got going on? Yellow Corp loses pension claims appeal. Got going on here. Good lord. Federal appeals court upholds ruling citing former LTL carriers owes pensions. You mean to tell me, Yellow, y'all try to skip out on paying those guys their pension? Like, come on, man. How low can you get? That's crazy. An effort from defunct Yellow Corp and its majority shareholder MFN partner to overturn a ruling requiring it to pay pension withdrawal liabilities was shot down. Mm, mm, mm. Withdrawal liability claims attached to Yellow once totaled more than 6.5 billion, roughly 4.8 billion of which were held by Central States Pension Fund. Yellow argued that the plans are now fully funded following a 2021 pension fund bailout package and that it owes little to nothing to the plans that covered roughly 22,000 of its union employees. If they were smart, if Yellow was smart, they would have took that um, PPP loan and they would have used that to pay the pension. They would have used that PPP loan to pay the pensions, man. The group said the goal was to keep other contributing employees from using the bailout to the exit plans. Okay, immediate recognition would mean the MEPPs are fully funded, removing any unfunded vested benefits and consequently an employer's withdrawal liabilities, potentially leading to a mass exodus. I know that's right, man. They know y'all trying to get too smart for your own good, man. That man. Nah, buddy. Nah, man. Y'all gonna have to pay the bill, man. Golly. Tesla settles two California autopilot suits after recent Florida loss. Deals follow a Florida verdict in which the automaker faces a hit of more than 200 million record on wins. Wow. Two California lawsuits filed against Tesla as a result of crashes that the plaintiffs claimed were caused by cars out of control Autopilot driving. Mm. It says in a case that had been originally filed by Alameda County Court, the settlement is with the family of a teenager killed in a crash involving a Tesla car operating on autopilot. The other settled the case settles in the death of in 2019 of two people who were traveling through an intersection in a Honda Civic and a Tesla Model S equipped with autopilot failed to stop at a red light and crashed into the vehicles. Both settlement just comes week after Tesla hit a judgment of $243 million, just one third of the total penalty ordered by the jury in Florida. The driver was assessed the other two thirds. Man, the driver was assessed, huh? I hear that. Now, I want y'all to really think about this too, right? What's gonna happen whenever those autonomous trucks get on the road and those all trucks, those autonomous trucks start to malfunction? Which, if you have been driving these trucks, if you have been driving these trucks long enough, you already know that it is possible for these trucks to malfunction. Who they gonna put the blame on? One part the truck, one part you, the driver. Even though it's an autopilot, even though the truck is doing 100% of the driving, but it's your fault. Partly your fault. It says, according to the lawsuit, Benjamin Monaldo was driving with his son on the interstate. He was changing lanes according to the suit. Then suddenly and without warning, his vehicle was rear-ended by a Tesla Model 3. Aurora's car rolled over and crashed into the highway's center barrier wall, and his son was killed after being ejected from the vehicle. Malado also suffered back injuries in the crash. Mm, mm, mm. Somebody's gonna have to take the blame for that, man. All right, what else we have? I know what we gonna do. We gonna do that and then come right back on in. All right. That should be it. See what else we have. Damn. Let's read this one right quick, man. Check this one out, man. This one's crazy. Truck driver speared by a forklift. The fuck? A truck driver is dead after being struck by a forklift at a warehouse near Sydney Airport on Monday morning. The accident happened September 22nd. According to 7 News, the 57-year-old truck driver was working at the facility when he was struck by the forklift in a fatal unloading accident. The truck driver suffered critical chest injuries and died at the scene. A crime scene was established and operations at the warehouse were shut down as investigators worked to determine the details of the accident. We're offering full support and compassion. Where was this again? Let's see. Sydney Airport, Sydney, Australia. Okay. Man, that's crazy. Prayers up to the fallen driver. Prayers to the family. Prayers to everybody involved. All right. Fatal crash involving oversized load. Two other commercial vehicles reported on I-40 in Tennessee. Look at this, man. Sheesh. That is crazy. Man, can y'all see that? The crash was reported around 9 a.m. on an I-40 eastbound at the mile marker 98. Involved oversized loads and two commercial vehicles. At least one person was killed at the crash. Troopers said that the crash left a large beam extended over the highway. Man, prayers up, man. Prayers up to the fallen drivers and everybody involved. Okay, here's one that's interesting. Truck drivers protest poor driver training and truck maintenance in Montreal, Slow roll. Multiple slow roll protests were scheduled for Monday throughout Quebec, Canada, by truckers involved in the Says movement. Enough is enough. Okay. Slow roll. So they're protesting poor driver training and truck maintenance. Okay. What y'all think about that? What else we got here? Damn. I-80 Wyoming tractor trailer crash that killed at least one. Sheesh. I-80 eastbound is currently closed. Laramie and Rollins due to a crash in the eastbound lane. Let's go and see what else we can dig up on this one. All right. At least one dead, another life flightened from semi crashed. Jesus. A devastating collision destroyed a pair of semi trailers on eastbound interstate, leaving one person and the other airlifted from the scene. Oh. Mm-mm-mm. Told the Cowboy Daily, what I know right now is we have the interstate closed for several hours. Brown said Brown encourages people to download and use Wyoming 511 app. Shows both semi trailers on the shoulder with debris stretching across both lanes. I want to get some names. Got some pictures of traffic being backed up. Yeah, that's crazy. These trucks aren't no joke, man. Okay. Like I'm in the hotel right now because my truck is banged up. Okay. E-scooter driver arrested for manslaughter after crashing into a semi truck, deleting a passenger. Northeast Portland, Oregon. A 21-year-old. Now it's interesting that we got the name right here, but we didn't get the name of the drivers in Wyoming. Very interesting. The collision deleted Geraldo Ortiz, who was riding on the back of the scooter, and left Calkins with a serious injury. Mm-hmm. Interesting. It ain't no joke out here, people. Then it says over 3,000 truck drivers removed from the road for English language proficiency. No habla inglés. Since late June 2025, there have been a total of 3,000 out of service orders, according to the FMCSA database. Oh, then they have it broken down by regions. In the East, 386 drivers. Midwest, 615 drivers. In the South, 878 drivers. And out West, 1,100 drivers. Now that's interesting that the South, being the way that it is, that you have more drivers than the East, being put out of service. Considering just how, I want to say, diverse and trucker, not necessarily friendly, but how much freight that can come out of the East, right? How many truck drivers up there? Because if you up there, you already know there's a lot of truckers up there, man. And a good bit of them just don't speak English. That's just a fact. Wow. All right, man. We're gonna go ahead and call it a night right there, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. We're gonna go ahead and call it a night. Haha. What up, Trucker Kersey?